Do have a seat. A predecessor of mine as curate here, Father Harry Williams, was given some deflating advice in the run-up to one midnight mass in the late 1940s when agonizing about his sermon. "My dear," the vicar told him, "they don't come for the preaching, they come for the choir." I imagine there are almost as many reasons for coming here tonight as there are people here. And I think that's fine, even quite wonderful. We trust as Christians that God works with whatever it is we have to give him, however small or mean or partial it might at first seem. Tonight we commemorate Christendom's extraordinary claim of a God so generous he became human in a particular place at a particular time in order to furnish all of us with true abundance of life. How much more confident should we be that whatever the reasons we're here tonight, however casual, however compromised, however eccentric they might seem to us, that God is at work in them and in us, if only we open our hearts to his grace. And this is your church. It is, in a sense, a family with all the joys and strains of family, and it belongs to you as much as it belongs to me, perhaps even more. Wherever you're from, wherever you're going, welcome home. Midnight Mass is about the only night that, to some dubiously popish name for the Eucharist, the Holy Communion, is used by most good Anglicans. Of course, Midnight Mass appealed to the sensibilities of a little Father Allen. One reason, indirectly perhaps, that I'm here tonight, in its exotic suggestion of abroad, of colour, of music. And of course here at Margaret Street, the Mass is the norm. Tonight's High Mass with its glorious choir, Viennese Mass setting, cloth of gold vestments, is but one brilliant jewel in an annual crown that consists of around 750 masses, 750 moments in time, united to that singular incarnation that is the salvation of those moments, that moment that we celebrate tonight. Every day for 100 and odd years, through war, through pandemic, through fad and roiling fashion, this sincere local expression of the Catholic faith has gone on. And tonight we crown it in elaborate fashion. We crown in elaborate fashion a daily reality. The word Mass is thought to come from the final words in Latin of the liturgy we celebrate tonight. Broadly the same ritual for 1,000 years or more. Ite missa est, go. It is sent. Go. It is the dismissal. Odd, in a way, isn't it, to name the ceremony we share tonight after the words that mark its conclusion, its dissolution. But significant. Faith, church-going, midnight Mass, all in one sense offer us comfort. Our reasons for being here might involve nostalgia, an ineffable, perhaps even confusing or contradictory sense of obligation, an indulgence of memory. People of faith, more generally, are often accused of fleeing from the cold realities of the world, religion as the opiate of the masses. Fleeing that sense articulated in a meme or whatever it was I saw whilst doom-scrolling recently. My favourite conspiracy theory is that everything is going to be all right. We should feel comforted here, reassured tonight as we return to our Father's house. And not only comforted, but promised true abundance of life in those gospel words. God became man, that man might become God, in those astonishing words of St. Athanasius. We're promised reconciliation, peace, the pains and wrongs of this world set in the context of the world to come. More tangibly, perhaps we're offered community, a connection to the past, a context, a fitting context in which to remember lost loved ones. And it's heartening, isn't it, amid all the real travails of the church, our desperate need for humility, to acknowledge the ways in which we have got things wrong, that the church communities are amongst the last remaining places that different sorts of people sit next to one another under the same roof, across barriers of class, gender, nationality, colour, sexuality, ecclesiology, whatever it might be. So we come here, yes, to be comforted, but we're not left unchallenged. For the Mass, this continuing expression of the singular incarnation we commemorate tonight, is not merely a salve, but a commission. Its name reminds us that we are sent out into the world, comforted, yes, by familiar, consoling rites and rhythms, but called to draw on that gift of comfort, that grace, for the good of others and for the glory of the God who made us so generously out of love. As Christian communities, we are called to build one another up and to deepen our sense of being a family. But we're also challenged not to look inward. We're called here to maintain high-quality music and liturgy, but also to be patient and flexible when things go wrong. As individuals, we are called to know ourselves more fully. We're called as Christians to prayerful introspection, to lives spent searching for that still small voice, God's inner voice of love. But we're at the same time called not to make ourselves or our own identity the reference point in absolutely everything. We're called into relationship in all the difficulty as well as consolation that involves. Called to humility, to acceptance of our faults, and to growth, at times painful growth. The Incarnation lends love, honour and comfort to the particular lives of each one of us. As we avail ourselves of the continuing graces of the Incarnation in the Church and her sacraments tonight, remember how we're also sent back out into that cold world, commissioned to lead better lives, more expansive lives, fuller lives, and at times harder lives, lives patterned on the Creator God who in Jesus Christ became flesh and dwelt among us. Welcome to All Saints. Welcome back to many of you. Welcome home to all of you. And a very happy Christmas to you all. Amen.